Thank you, Dr. Guzman, for your inspired leadership as a proud Hoya for others. Buenas tardes y gracias por estar aquí para celebrar Lavender Graduation. Mi nombre es José Martín Ramos y este mayo me voy a graduar del colegio en las facultades de Economía y Sociología. Ya saben, la introducción básica de Georgetown. En los últimos 2 años he servido como el co-chair de Mecha de Georgetown y es un gran honor tener a Dr. Joshua Javier Guzmán, quien también fue un co-chair de Mecha como el keynote speaker de esta tarde. And no, don't worry, I'm not going to do this all in Spanish. I will translate. As I was stating previously, it is a great honor to have Dr. Joshua Javier Guzmán as the keynote speaker for this year's Lavender Graduation. As a community scholar and a student leader in Mecha, a lot of Dr. Guzman's experiences resonated with my own. I was raised in a low-income household by undocumented parents. I grew up in the city of Santana in California, which is predominantly underprivileged and Hispanic. At least it was predominantly underprivileged and Hispanic, since it is currently undergoing the wonderful phenomenon of gentrification. In other words, they're kicking us out. When I was born, I was diagnosed with cleft palate and an absent uvula. For those of you who may not know, cleft palate is when the roof of the mouth contains an opening into the nose. In terms of the uvula, which is a little hanging thing at the back of the throat, I was also born without that. Both of these combined lowered my chances of being able to speak. In order to improve my chances of speaking, I was placed in school earlier than most of kids my age. With the extensive help from the school district, I received additional speech tutors and lessons at no cost. And I am thankful that it was at no cost because my family would have not been able to afford that. Less than a year later, I was able to speak and read, and I actually became the fastest read out loud student at my school. That was not the only thing though. Because the ears, nose, and throat are all connected and my mouth was connected to my nose, whatever happened in my mouth affected my ears as well. This led to many complications with regards to my ears. To top it off, my ear canal was way smaller than usual, so much that doctors thought it would eventually close up. All of this meant that my ears could only pick up a limited amount of sounds. In order to try and solve this problem, I had to undergo surgery to place some hollow tubes in my ears. The hollow tubes were meant to keep the canal from closing up. I was often going through surgery for this 3 to 4 times a year. Around the time I turned 10, doctors called me in for a series of ear checkups. It was there that they realized I no longer needed the hollow tubes. I had come to a point where the tubes not only kept the ear canals from closing up, but made sure they stayed open permanently. This allowed me to improve my hearing throughout the years with the help of weekly therapy sessions. 2 things from this. 1, there is no doubt that we need comprehensive schools, such as the one that helped me speak. You might think that all schools are already that way, but they are not, especially not in schools where marginalized communities make up the majority. It is for this reason that I am proud to say that I will be working with Teach for America in Los Angeles Unified School District as a special education teacher. And 2, we need universal health care and a healthcare system that ensures our basic well-being. Both of these, of course, available to everyone regardless of race, sexuality, socioeconomic status, or citizenship. You might be wondering, okay, so how does this relate to Georgetown? The thing is that the 3 main things I learned while at Georgetown can actually be visualized through the experiences that I previously shared. First, those of us who are able to need to learn to speak or speak up. Personally, I get it. It's scary. It's nerve-wracking. It's so easy to just stay quiet and follow the norms. But come on, we are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning. We're breaking those norms with our existence. We weren't meant to follow the norm. We can't let others speak for our own experiences. The thing is, right now, it feels great because look at us, we have a community, we have a resource center, various student orgs, and a supportive faculty, staff, and administration. That won't always be the case out there in the real world. People will hate us, people will talk down to us, people will even erase parts of our identities. And it is our responsibility to speak up, to stop that from happening. They say we are the change, and we are. If we speak up, we can change so many things, including the way in which society treats us. Lately, I have been thinking a lot about the phrase, if not me, then who? And it's true, it's the main reason that I am up here on stage. I, a low-income, first-generation, bisexual, person of color, reflecting at Lavender Graduation in a privileged white institution that builds upon the lands and graves of marginalized communities, yet fails to act upon reparations. But now I say to you, if not us, then who? Let us speak up for ourselves and our marginalized communities. Second, those of us who are able to need to learn to hear and listen to others. How can we be a strong LGBTQ community without knowing about the struggles others' identities face? How can we call ourselves allies when we don't truly know the very people we are trying to fight for? We need to understand each other in the most raw form. We all need to listen to and learn from the queer people of color. We all need to listen to and learn from the transgender community. We all need to listen to and learn from each other. And finally, we need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Frankly, I wouldn't be here had I not been comfortable with being uncomfortable. Before coming to Georgetown, I hid my bisexual identity. I was never happy with myself. I was uncomfortable with my true self. All of these are also reasons why I was initially uncomfortable with the idea of working at the LGBTQ Resource Center. But after working there for 4 years, I learned so much about myself. I learned to accept myself. I learned to be happy with myself. I learned to love all of who I am. And it all happened after I put myself through an uncomfortable experience. The truth is, we learn from these uncomfortable experiences. This also goes back to speaking up and listening to others. We need to make ourselves uncomfortable to speak up and make ourselves uncomfortable to listen and learn from others. It is up to us now. We got this.